So it seems now on YouTube we're a React channel, so to speak. And I've seen a post that has piqued my curiosity, and it's about a discussion regarding FF culture. So, the leader of positivity himself, Mr. ASAP, with the most amazing and totally realistic takes on League of Legends, has come to speak to us regarding this particular issue. So let's hear him out and see what he has to say. I've been asked and given permission by Never Seen a Moose, the original post on Reddit front page, to amplify and post this on Twitter, which I will gladly do. So it's a particular incident where ASAP is spreading awareness about it. This is totally fine. For context, this video is a comeback in Diamond 1, 99.65 percentile skill with a 0.21 Fiora top lane. So, we already have an issue with this. Are we going to imply that Diamond 1 is a skilled division? Are we going to imply that just because a player is Diamond 1 is necessarily skilled or unskilled? Like, let's be real here. You can go into an Emerald game and have better games there, or you could have worse. You can go into a Master game and have lower quality games than Diamond 1. This is such an irrelevant factor. At one point, you have to look at the reality and realize that this is just a division where people grinded to it. People have a certain skill, but on top of the skill, they also have the time, the dedication, and I'd say desire, it's the same thing, to get to that point. And sometimes the accounts, because obviously we all know that fresh MMR accounts, will have a higher chance in getting you there. So this is not necessarily an argument. Oh, this has happened in a very skilled game. No, I would say this is actually a counter-argument for what he's trying to say. This is probably one of the most unskilled and most likely divisions for this to happen. And for obvious reasons. We all know if you go into a Diamond 1 game, it will be tilting, it will be frustrating. And he's also implying they have a 0.21 Fiora. Well, we all know Fiora can take the base on her own in late game. And for additional context, which he's not providing, and he has Twitter Blue and could provide it, he's playing against a Renekton. Is Renekton a late game champion? No, it's not. It's a useless champion. Would he still say the same? Would that Fiora exist if the enemy had, I don't know, Kyle or Nasus? Who knows? But what I do know for sure is that a Fiora late game, even if she's 0.21, would still push, and the Renekton could not be able to stop her. So this is not an argument, bro. It's already what is it called? Mudding the waters. He's already mudding the waters. Anyway, I'm ecstatic to have the conversation about FF culture going overboard has been brought to light finally. Okay, so now we're talking about people surrendering ranked. Totally fine. The current perception of the average player about the chance to win in games, in my opinion, is heavily distorted and skewed. This is an interesting point, because I don't know if people are just saying some things or they believe them. It's a different, you could say some things and not believe them, right? That's an interesting point, but let's listen to it more. My original fear was that enabling non-anonymous surrender at 15 will incredibly harm the quality of those next 5 minutes, which I believe has happened. Okay, we hear about only 3 to 5% of games that are 4-1 votes are won, but it's quite literally impossible to have control for the stats. There doesn't exist a world where surrendering isn't enabled. He is right, but that doesn't mean those stats aren't valuable. For once, I think Riot is in the right following these stats. usually Riot is very blind and they don't really see the reality and or interpret stats in a wrong way. But what does this mean? What do those stats mean? It means that when someone surrenders a game, most of the times, almost always, they are frustrated with the game. Can we agree on this? They are frustrated with the game. So what has happened is that in a game where 4 people have agreed to surrender and 1 hasn't agreed to surrender, right? 4 people are frustrated enough in order to vote green and end their suffering, their frustration, their misery. And that's what it implies. That's what the statistic implies. What he's saying is that if surrender vote wouldn't have been enabled, or if, I don't know, if you could surrender but the game would still go on, these stats would be different. You know, okay, and what's the point of that? Maybe people would surrender more if the game wouldn't finish, right? Maybe people would stop caring less. Maybe games would be lost even more if you couldn't surrender. This is such a non-argument, bro. Like, what prolonging a frustrating game does, even if it increases the chances of potentially winning your game, and this is something that he's not taking into account, it's that decreases your overall stamina and energy and desire to play the game. Now, how can I say this for certain? He says down below, he doesn't know he cannot prove certain things. Well, I can't prove this for sure, but let's have a conversation, right? Have you noticed that the games in Season 14 last longer? They are needlessly longer. You get to a point in the game where nothing happens. It's just longer. It's prolonged game time. You just know it's an artificial 5 minutes added, but not where he says it is. And the games are just more stressful, where you just farm, but it's more exhausting to farm. Does that make sense? I cannot prove this, but I am asking if you, as the player, feel this. Because I certainly do. And do you know what this happens? It makes me play League of Legends less. As in, I played 2 games, I'm so mentally tired from those 2 games, I don't want to play the 3rd. This is what happens. And this is what AZAP wants us to do. He wants us to try hard every single game for the chance of one game in so rare. It's so rare that it was posted on Reddit and he's talking about the game itself. You could win that. And let's see what happened. Let's see the video itself before we go even further.
0-6.
So let's watch this.
You're 0-5.
I couldn't. Okay. So let's watch the team comps, right? We have a Smolder with Cleanse. So he doesn't have an exhaust, and Alistar has Ignite. And the only person who has exhaust is Asol, which is correct, by the way. I also agree with this, but I also disagree with Smolder having cleanse. Like, what are you going to cleanse, bro? Are you going to cleanse Lucian Q? Gragas Q? Fiora auto attack? Oh, I'm going to cleanse the Brown passive. Yeah, you're going to get one shot by Diana, bro. You're going to get bursted. You don't have trading power. So this guy on Smolder is a moron that enables Diana to be 1v9 this game. You already know from this picture, and you also know from this picture that his team, the losing team, is doing not that bad at this moment, right? Because it's only 2-4, let's say, but the farm is okay. Actually, Blue side has more winning farm, and it could enable a Fiora to scale. It also has a mountain. Blue side also has a mountain. What does that mean? It means the enemy team cannot end. Do you wanna know why? Because they don't have the necessarily mathematical stats to end through brute force. Because they don't have stats for objectives, right? That's what it means. So already from this, you know that Blue side has a chance to scale. And also you can see in late game, even though Asol and Smolder are mega scaling champions, they probably won't have the tools to save themselves, which is an exhaust, on AD carry, or the tools, or maybe Locket, or maybe Knight's Vow, or even, I don't know, maybe perhaps a redemption. Who knows what could happen this game? But you can assume, right? You can assume because you play the game and you know what's going to happen, potentially, because most of the things that happen in this game happen in others. So let's move forward.
Oh, so why is my Fiora 0-5? Kind of crazy. I don't know.
Okay.
0-6 building Dirk, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
This is gonna be a rough game. Like, this is gonna be a brutal game.
I would also add, probably in his Magnus, what's his name? Azap doesn't believe in losers queue, but this guy is in losers queue.
And their early game champ, Renekton, is 6-0.
He is in losers queue.
Get the balance are available soon.
He's blue side. What does loser queue means? Lower MMR team with probably more out of field players. That's all that means. Wow, so he made some kills, he got a shutdown. Red side probably fell asleep on the keyboard. They couldn't snowball properly because what the blue side jungler did was miraculous. Like, okay, Diana getting all these kills, it's amazing, sure. But getting 3 dragons with losing lanes, bro?
Wait, I can do work, I can do work.
People don't understand how hard it is, bro. So he's just showing a game so rare that it actually needs to be posted on Reddit because it's so out of the ordinary. You don't see this every day. Like, you'll see probably, yeah, he's going to steal the Baron, right? So the jungler got 3 Drakes from behind, a Baron.
Nice.
Like, how often does this happen, bro?
He knows what he's doing. Look at Gragas diff. Look at Gragas diff.
Is he gonna steal again?
Look at Gragas diff. Rumble's not in the pit.
Bro, how many times does it happen for a jungler to do this? How many times? I've played tens of... I probably played over... I don't want to say over 100,000. 100,000? Yeah, I don't want to say that number, but I did play tens of thousands of games. And I don't see this happen way that often, bro. I'd say probably this happens maybe twice per season. Maybe 3 times per season if you're generous. For a jungler to take Soul and 2 Barons with fully stomped team in early game. It happens so rarely that it's a totally out of the ordinary situation.
You need to live. Okay, double inhibs.
Yeah, he's going to take Soul.
20 power spike.
So they already have the tools to end this. Now, we are in endgame. Look at this, guys. We are in endgame. Alistar has no peel for his team, bro. What is this? Like, what the hell is this, man? Damage amplify. Bro, your team will die to Diana, bro. Your team will get bursted. Where is your Knight's Vow? Where is your Locket? What does this guy do with Comet Cleanse in this point of the game? Diana breathes in his direction and he dies. Where's his exhaust? This is why you don't take Cleanse. It's such a...
Oh, shit.
Okay, so... we're probably going to see Diana one-shotting here, right? Okay, pre-watched. No, you're not serious. I didn't even pre-watch this, bro! But it's so obvious that this would happen. You just know from Champ Select. This is why I lose my mind on Twitter every single day. I just know when I see a Diana in the enemy team and my team doesn't have exhausts and lockets that this will happen. It's not that uncommon. And how I see this will happen, I also know that most of the games will probably be lost if we don't have certain tools. Anyway, so he's going to show that he won. So, and he even got someone who got the pentakill. Lucian got the pentakill at the end. So, how often do you see this game? You probably have once in a lifetime. A game like this, you'll probably have once in your League of Legends career. You'll probably not have more than one. It's so rare you will remember this game for the rest of your life. I mean it. So because one of these games could happen sometimes where you have the perfect conditions to come back, right? Enemy team has no tools to stop you. Your jungler made the impossible, probably, what's his name? Rumble trolled for fun with objectives. We should drain our entire energy every day for what? It will just make the people play less. If you play games like this every day, it will make people play less. They don't want to play games like this. Are stressful, bro. And both teams feel like they lost. It's a loss for both teams. Like, sure, it's nice in the moment, but everyone lost because this was a bad game. Okay, so let's go back. A lot of players after a failed surrender vote inevitably become a self-fulfilling prophecy, seeking the outcome they predicted. Oh, yeah, so it's just a mental issue. It's not a mathematical calculation. Yeah, right, yeah, bro. If I just play better, if I pray that something good will happen, then for sure it will happen. What happens when you have a positive mental ASAP and you still lose? Do you take that into account? Do you take into account when you have a positive mental and you still fucking lose because it's still a mathematical equation, and even though human factor can happen, you will inevitably be faced with the reality of math? Like, it's just as simple as that. You see a champion that's 1v9, one-shotting you, and you don't have the tools to stop it, therefore you lose because it's a mathematical equation. It's as easy as that. You don't have to make it, it's not that deep, bro. It's literally not that deep. You can pray that you can hope that you can have a good game, but how many of those in a day do you have? Like, bear in mind, he's a professional player. He's actually a professional player. He's a streamer. He makes his living out of this. He can afford to play this game all day, even at higher brackets, even at Diamond and Master. Even professional people don't have the stamina that he's asking the people to do. And if people were to be playing like him, I repeat, it will only make people want to play less overall. That will cause people to have higher queue times. It will lead to more frustration during losses, because obviously you will invest more. And let's be honest, a lot of times people, when they surrender, because he's talking about this inevitable FF culture, you know what? A lot of people just vent. Like, some people slam their fist on the table, some people smoke, some people just say, and other people just FF. They don't really necessarily want to lose, but it's a venting mechanism. They just want to FF. They just want to FF, even though deep down they want to win. They want to win so hard, but they also want to FF because this game is so frustrating. Do you take those people into account? How many times have you, the viewer, had these games where you surrender, you see 3 votes yes and 1 vote no, and you're low-key praying the other person better not fucking press that yes button. You better not press that yes button, even if you're the one who initiated the vote. I bet you have experienced games like this. So what? Do you take those into account, Mr. ASAP? Even if Riot Production laid out problems accurately, which begs the question, why doesn't Riot back it up with active decisions? Oh, I don't know, because probably they are smart enough to understand that if they do this, it will just lead to less playtime, and it will inevitably make their game worse. Less playtime means less soul skins. It's not that deep. Again, it's a business decision. Probably they did a math, or they're experimenting with it. They've already tried certain things, and they're probably experimenting now with longer game time. And if my personal prediction comes true, which will lead to League of Legends becoming shorter overall, Summoners Rift games will become shorter again, because I think what this does to players is that it makes them play less. That's what I think. I don't have statistics. It's a feels statement. But this is what I feel, and I'm willing to state it publicly. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But I'm willing to say it. The way I see it, the game will not improve or get to a healthier state until we revert the surrender changes at 15 and either make it anonymous or completely abolish FF at 15. No, I think we should actually FF at 10. In my personal opinion, we should actually FF at 10. Not 15, at 10. But I would also say at 10, everyone has to agree. Even if there's a sabotager in Inter, everyone has to agree. That's my personal opinion. Because, again, how many times do you just waste time AFK farming, going through the motions, playing this unbearable free-lose game? Just because I didn't want to even bring this, but he's coming from such a privileged position. He's coming from the position of a mid laner that's playing range champions, scaling range champions that can farm safe. Go play AD carry and jungle and have this positivity, bro. Like, he's playing one of the most privileged, how should I put it? Easy to farm, easy to scale, easy to play. Less stress, less pressure class in the game. It's not even funny. Like, oh, you're gonna get ganked by the jungler at 340? Oh, sucks to be you, bro. Oh, I guess you cannot play the game now by staying in tower a bit. Oh, you died? Oh, I guess you're going to get your TP and get your experience and gold anyway. Ah, you're 0-5? Oh, I guess you're just gonna press R and nuke our entire family bloodline. Oh, that's very cool of you, bro. He doesn't understand the frustration. And most he understands, my jungler doesn't gank, my jungler doesn't get objectives, He doesn't understand the frustration AD carries, supports, top laners, and junglers feel. I'd probably say in the order of junglers, AD carries, top laners, supports. That's the order of the most frustrating roles. Like, bro, where every decision you make has to rely on someone else. Every mess up that one person has, it forces you to lose something. It forces you to die. It forces you to sometimes die for those resources, otherwise you'll die more or lose the game. It's just going to AFK farm on mid lane and scale. And he thinks everyone can do that. No, bro. At most people will just mute themselves and try to win while surrendering and wanting to end this misery. He doesn't understand, probably because he plays so much mid. I honestly want to see if he has the same mentality if he's gonna play jungle. Like, every year we have some streamer going from jungle, from support or AD carry to jungle, and they lose their minds. Most recent example, C9 Emilia, right? She is losing her mind in Emerald 4 after 2 months. I mean, 1 month, let's be fair. But still, I want to see him if he's still this calm and positive when playing other frustrating roles. He's literally playing the most carefree role in the game, but he doesn't see it. He's playing Vel'Koz. We already know he's deluded enough to think Vel'Koz is a weak champion. He's 47%. Yeah, because nobody plays your fucking boring champion, bro. Nobody wants to play your boring champion. Obviously, they're not get good at it. But I don't want to touch this subject, but let's move forward. Before you lose your mind about playing games you don't want to. Oh, he's touching, he's talking to me, which is weird because you pressed accept knowing very well game might go for 30 minutes or longer. You know what? I'm not even gonna let him finish. No, I didn't press accept to play a frustrating game. I pressed accept to win a game in 20 minutes and stomp the enemy team. I don't press accept to lose. I don't press accept to be frustrated. And if I have to choose between playing a game to slightly have higher chances of winning or losing that game, I'm going to choose to lose that game faster. And you know what? The people that want to FF probably feel this. Like, I'll be honest, I'm one of the guys, totally transparent. I'm one of the guys who surrenders. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather, in the moment, have 2 losses with 1 win, while those 2 losses were fast, than having 2 wins with 1 loss, but those 2 wins were long. I don't want to feel that. I don't care about the... I don't feel the pride of having a higher rank necessarily. Sure, it would be nice for that to happen. It's nice to see the LP go up, but it's not worth my sanity. It's not worth the pain. It's not worth. And so no, I'm willing to press accept because I have no other choice. It's like, oh, you read the terms and conditions, therefore they're allowed to take your kidney. No, they're not. I just pressed it because I want to play their game. Whatever, man. Keep in mind that snowball levels of this game have not been brought back so much. Yeah, I actually agree. They did a fairly good job to keep the games longer than they used to be. Like back in the days, even now to an extent, games would be over at minute 1. Straight up minute 1. I still remember there was a game where Amazing, the jungler from Germany, was playing with TSM against a Korean team, I think in quarters, and they simply lost the game because of a ward. I think that was in season 4. I don't necessarily remember what game. I probably should have added up to this video to make some preparations, but I just came to mind. But Riot has done a pretty good job to give a chance to losing teams to win. But it still doesn't justify the idea of playing a frustrating game that you will most likely lose. Let me be clear, because maybe someone will take it out of context, that you will most likely lose. Now, if I were on blue side, I would probably play this game simply because I had a dragon. If the enemy team had that mountain in the early team, I'll probably surrender. Because I know that mountain is what enables a team in mid-game not to die. I know that enables the game to snowball a bit. Delay the snowball a bit. So what would change in this game is my ability to have that dragon. I would play this game, but I would not play it if the enemy team had that mountain. To give you an example. So I think you should surrender more games, but you should also try to play the ones. The idea he is trying to say is that people have, what did he say? Current perception of the average player about the chance to win games, in my opinion, haven't distorted or skewed. To an extent, that's true. Again, we do not know to what extent. You should still try to play, but you shouldn't force people to play a game that they don't want to play. You're going to try to win until there's no point. Like if you're that one person who's keeping your 4 players, your 4 teammates in the game, even if you could carry it 1v9, I don't feel it's warranted for you to keep those people hostage. That's what I think. This is my opinion. What can I do to implore you to play next 5-10 games with surrender vote disable, as they are perfectly winnable, and give your best. Your results of these little experiments will do the work for me. No, actually I totally believe you, man. I totally believe you. If you are going to play 100 games with no surrender versus 100 games with surrender, you will win more by not surrendering. You're not a genius for stating this. You should ask yourself why people still want to surrender despite of it. And you should also ask yourself in how much time you will play those 100 games, and how many days will you play those 100 games where you don't surrender. Time is a factor for many people that you don't take into account, bro. And again, frustration that you accumulate during a lost game will carry out through another. So what does that do? Well, if you're going to bring your frustration to a player that has a healthy mindset, you're going to make him angry as well, and he's gonna do the same to the next player. So, in my opinion, it's better for the game to limit that frustration as much as possible. And if you are not going to let people FF and move on, well, guess what? People will just stop playing the game. Because, let's be honest, this is a drug, and when the drug doesn't hit enough, it doesn't hit you enough, you don't get the satisfaction from it, you'll either increase the dose or quit it. So I don't think in this case people will increase the dose. I think the frustration will be so much that they are just going to play it less. That's what I think. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. It was kind of a long video, but yeah, I think in essence you should be able to surrender even if you could win the games. I don't know necessarily if you should do it as 4 or as 5, but yeah, I think 4 surrender votes should go through at minute 15. If 4 people at minute 15 want to FF, go ahead. If you want to put the FF vote at 10, it must be 5. That's what I think. Anyway, see ya. Have a nice day.